What's the easiest way to lose hundreds of dollars in Bali without even realizing it? Here's a hint. It happens at places every traveler is told to use. Tourists often walk into a money changer, think they're scoring the best deal, and walk out already shortchanged. But the scam isn't in the rate. It's in those sneaky hands counting your bills. If you've ever wondered why your cash doesn't stretch as far as it should, this could be the reason. Stay tuned, because I'm showing you exactly how this happens and how you can avoid it. When a money changer promises the best rate in town, it feels like you've just scored a deal. The signs look official, the rates seem higher than the competition, and everything about the setup makes you believe you've found the perfect spot. For many travelers, this feels safe, especially if the booth is on a busy street surrounded by other tourists doing the same thing. And that's exactly why so many people walk in confident and leave with less cash than they should. One of the most common assumptions is that because the exchange boards are out in the open and the numbers are printed clearly, scams must be rare. The rates are right there, after all. You hand over your money and you get the listed amount in local notes in return. At least that's what you assume. What most first-time visitors don't realize is that the scam isn't hiding in the rate itself. The numbers are usually correct. The trick happens in those few seconds at the counter when your notes are counted, stacked, or slipped into a bundle. Imagine the scene. You hand over $100, expecting to receive a neatly counted pile of rupiah. The staff takes out the calculator, punches in the exchange rate, and shows you the total you're supposed to receive. So far, everything feels legitimate. Then the notes come out. They're counted quickly in stacks, shuffled, and reshuffled again. You might even be asked to count them yourself, only to have the bills taken back for rechecking. It's at that moment during the juggling of notes that a clever hand moves one small bundle out of sight or palms a couple of bills away. The difference could easily be the equivalent of $20, maybe more, yet it passes as if nothing happened. Here's how many people miss it. The calculator feels reassuring. The staff encourages you to count, but the process is so fast-paced that you struggle to follow. If you hesitate, you're encouraged to trust the counter. If you're traveling alone, you might feel pressured not to make a scene. By the time you've stepped outside, you're holding less money than you deserve, and chances are you won't even realize until much later. Take the case of a solo traveler who thought she had her trip planned perfectly. She changed her dollars at a small booth offering a slightly better rate than the others on the street. Walking out, she felt pleased with her choice, but within a few days, she noticed her budget wasn't stretching as far as it should. Drinks, meals, and transport started draining her wallet faster than expected. She first blamed herself, thinking she must have miscalculated. Only later did she realize a portion of her cash had vanished in that booth before she even started spending. That's the power of this scam. It targets your trust in what looks official. When you see bright signage and staff using calculators, you believe the process is standardized. But behind the practice counting, there's often a routine designed to make you leave with less. The big myth is that every exchange counter is safe. The reality is that many are built around these subtle tricks, refined to the point that you don't notice until it's too late. If the problem isn't just the rate on the board, the real question becomes, how can you make sure the money in your hands is the full amount you're owed? If shady booths can trick you so easily, where do experienced travelers actually swap their cash without risk? The answer is simpler than you might think. Locals and seasoned visitors rarely touch those glowing street counters. Instead, they stick to a handful of safe options: authorized bank counters, reputable chains like BMC, or withdrawing straight from an official ATM attached to a real bank. These options may not shout "best rate in town" on a flashing sign, but what they offer is security. And in a place where scams are this polished, security is far more valuable than a few extra rupiah on the exchange rate. Bank counters are often the most straightforward. You walk in, show your passport, hand over your money, and you walk out knowing it's been handled properly. Licensed chains like BMC work much the same way, but stand out because they operate multiple locations with consistent branding. You'll find them in busy districts and often within malls, which already adds an extra layer of safety. And then there are ATMs, which feel trustworthy because they're machines, not people, yet that's exactly where the tension lies. Not every ATM in Bali is safe. The ones tucked against the wall of nightlife districts or shady corners of tourist streets may look like a quick fix, but they come with the risk of card skimmers. A card skimmer is a small device criminals attach to an ATM to copy your card details. You won't notice it's even there when you slide your card in. That's why it's important to only use machines directly attached to banks or inside the guarded areas of shopping malls. ATMs that are standalone, especially in busy markets, are the ones you want to avoid. It might feel inconvenient to walk a few extra blocks to a reputable bank, but that small step can save you days of panic if your card details are stolen. Another way to spot safety is in the look of the exchange counter itself. Fake or shady booths are usually small, with makeshift signs, random staff, and sometimes even hidden behind souvenir stalls. Authorized counters look very different. They have clear signage, matching branding across multiple branches, and often sit inside or next to banks. If there's no receipt, no paperwork, and no proper shopfront, that's a red flag. Even when you're certain you're at a safe counter, don't let your guard down completely. Always count the cash yourself slowly and clearly, and use your own calculator rather than the one handed to you. Take your time and don't let staff speed you up. Rushing is part of their tactic, so move at your own pace. Money exchange should never feel like a race. If you'd prefer to skip the hassle of counters entirely, there's good news. Travel cards like Wise and other prepaid cards make life easier. They let you withdraw rupiah directly in smaller amounts and charge fair fees without any of the worry that comes from handling wads of cash at a booth. Many travelers also handle their bigger expenses before arriving, paying for airport transfers, tours, or even villa rentals online. That way, the cash you actually need in Bali is minimal. A good example of this difference is seen in how two travelers handled their trips. One pre-booked her airport rides, tours, and even her scooter rental online. She only carried a travel card and withdrew small amounts from bank ATMs. She never had to think about scams. Another visitor chose to carry large sums of dollars, changing them at small booths along the street. Each exchange was stressful. He worried about ATM skimmers, and on top of that, he missed out on actually enjoying the trip. It wasn't just about money, it was about the peace of mind. That's the real benefit of simple habits like using travel cards, choosing authorized exchanges, and booking services in advance. You protect your cash and your time, and the safest overall approach is clear. Stick to official bank ATMs, use legitimate counters, and rely on modern travel cards for daily expenses. Scams thrive on confusion and hesitation, but when you walk in with a plan, you're already ahead. The truth is, most tourists in Bali don't lose money from overspending. They lose it at places that look safe, like ordinary exchange booths, where tricks happen right in front of them. That's why having a plan makes all the difference. Book your airport transfers ahead of time. Know which exchange counters you can trust, and always count every note without rushing. Using a travel card or authorized ATM can take away the worry completely. When your money is secure, you relax more. That's when Bali becomes what it should be, about the beaches, the temples, and experiences you'll remember.